Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack a truly brilliant story that honestly completely redefines how we think about strength, talent, and leadership. We're looking at a narrative called The Heart of a King, The Determination of Leo. And I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this, because this isn't just some simple jungle fable. It's literally a masterclass in the mechanics of sheer grit. So get comfortable, and let's explore exactly what it takes to build an unstoppable mindset from the ground up.
Picture this. It's deep in the heart of a vast jungle, long before the sun has even thought about rising. It's pitch black out there. Most of the jungle is completely, utterly asleep. But out in that quiet darkness, there's movement. You hear this heavy, solitary breathing, the sound of paws hitting the dirt over and over again. This is raw willpower in motion, you know? Someone is out there training relentlessly, pushing themselves to the absolute physical limit, while the rest of the world rests.
And this brilliantly illustrates that this early morning grind wasn't just some random wandering around. No, it was a highly calculated routine. Step 1, running through the dense forest to build stamina. Step 2, climbing these steep, unforgiving rocky hills to build raw power. And Step 3, practicing hunting with absolute patience. It's a grueling, demanding morning routine by any standard, but who is doing this? And more importantly, why are they putting themselves through such intense isolation and physical strain?
So that brings us to Section 1, the jungle's underdog, and the origin of the grind. As the jungle finally wakes up and daylight breaks, we get to see the identity of our dedicated athlete. It's a young lion named Leo. But as you'll see, Leo's definitely not your typical king of the jungle. His baseline reality is actually incredibly challenging. There's a stark contrast in the jungle hierarchy. On one side, we have the other lions. They're naturally stronger, they're bigger, they're literally the animals you picture when you think of an apex predator. And then on the other side, we have Leo. The source material is super clear about this. Leo was smaller, he was weaker, and whenever the lions practiced hunting together, Leo struggled. He basically failed. He just didn't have the natural gifts that the others were simply born with.
And because he lacked that natural size and strength, he became a target. The stronger animals, they didn't help him. They laughed at him. They openly mocked him for his failures. Imagine them looking him right in the face and saying, "You'll never become a real king." Just think about the heavy emotional weight of hearing that, to be surrounded by your peers who look down on you, who laugh at your shortcomings, and who tell you that your very nature disqualifies you from greatness. I mean, it's the kind of mockery that would make almost anyone quit on the spot.
Which leads us right into Section 2, the relentless routine, channeling mockery into motivation.
See, most individuals would take that laughter, accept their place at the bottom of the hierarchy, and just give up. But instead of surrendering to their opinions, Leo decided to use every single insult as fuel. He took all of that negativity and poured it directly into that pre-dawn training routine we saw at the very beginning of this explainer. And it wasn't just some quick, one-time burst of motivation either. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. This wasn't a movie montage that wraps up in 2 minutes. This was a grueling, marathon passage of time. Every single morning before sunrise, while his critics were comfortably sleeping, Leo was out there in the dark, running, climbing, failing, trying again, and slowly, quietly improving. He was building something in the dark that the rest of the jungle couldn't even see yet.
Now we hit Section 3, the wildfire crisis, the ultimate test.
One summer, the quiet rhythm of the jungle was violently shattered. A massive wildfire broke out and started spreading rapidly across the landscape. The pacing of life went from totally calm to absolute chaos in seconds. Animals were panicking, running frantically in every possible direction trying to escape the flames. The heat, the smoke, the sheer unpredictability of it all turned the entire jungle upside down. And this forces us to pause and ask an absolutely critical question. What happens when natural strength just isn't enough? Because right here, facing this terrifying natural disaster, those other lions, the biggest, the strongest, the ones who had mercilessly mocked Leo, they froze. They were completely paralyzed by fear. The source tells us these strong lions were literally afraid to cross the burning path. All their natural size, all that effortless muscle, it meant absolutely nothing when faced with real, terrifying adversity.
And the stakes seriously couldn't have been higher, because right in the middle of this spreading inferno, a group of vulnerable lion cubs became completely trapped by the flames. They were cut off, surrounded by fire, and the strongest animals in the jungle were just too terrified to do a single thing about it.
Bringing us to Section 4, Courage Overcomes Fear, Training in Action.
So,
The crucial point is, while the strong lions hesitated, Leo stepped up without thinking twice. He didn't stop to check if he was big enough. He didn't worry if he was strong enough. He just faced the very flames that terrified the animals who used to laugh at him. And guys, his preparation paid off instantly. Remember step 2 of his morning routine from earlier in the explainer, climbing those rocky hills? Well, right here, in the middle of a blazing fire, it was Leo who was able to find a safe route through the rocks. He used his hard-earned agility and patience to navigate the chaos, reach those trapped cubs, and successfully lead every single one of them to safety. The aftermath of that rescue completely shifted the entire paradigm of the jungle. It proved that courage is greater than size. That day, nobody cared who was the biggest. Nobody cared who was the strongest, or who looked the most impressive during a practice hunt. When the smoke finally cleared, they only remembered the one who had the courage to act when it truly mattered.
This brings us to Section 5, the heart of a king, redefining leadership.
Because of his actions, Leo earned the ultimate, unwavering respect of every single animal in the jungle. He didn't demand their respect through size. He commanded it through his actions and his heart. The old Lion King of the jungle actually summarized this transformation perfectly. I just want to pause for a second and let these words really sink in. He looked at Leo and said, "A true leader isn't the one who never fails. A true leader is the one who never quits."
And that right there distills the entire moral of the story. Determination is your greatest strength, to keep going when others give up. Leo proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that persistent grit is vastly more valuable than natural talent. You know, talent might make practice easy, but determination is what saves the day when the fire breaks out.
Which leaves us with this final thought to carry with you today. When the flames rise in your own life, when things get incredibly difficult and chaotic, will you rely on your natural talent, which might just freeze in fear? Or will you rely on the determination that you've quietly built in the dark? Keep showing up. Keep doing the reps when no one is watching. Because that is exactly where true kings are made. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.